female voices. You know, for 50, 70 years, we have heard rock music, and we have almost only heard male narratives and male voices. Yeah, woman. All 5 songs is about being a woman today, and it talks about narratives that we don't speak so much about. So it's not only a personal story from my first-hand perspective. It's narratives that I have collected during the last 5 years when I've spoken to women. And then I've written these 5 songs, how women date now online. It's called binging. It's like we started to binge, like we watch series or we eat a lot of candy. It's like, yeah, swipe, swipe, swipe. And how does that affect our life? And then there is the sexual consent song. And then we got Fuck Your Way to the Top, a critique about this absurd notion that women, when they advance in their career, that they are always, or mostly at least, like challenged with the like prejudice. It's only because she's very fuckable. And it's only because, and she met, that and that and that guy at that party, and that's why, la la la. And you never hear that about a guy. It's always, but he's very good. Yeah, the guy, he's very competent. Yeah, and I think that's absurd. So I wrote Fuck Your Way to the Top as a like ironic stick it to the man. And then we got Aquarium about female friendship, and Champagne with like a leading a life that's not just straight ahead. Example, I don't want children and I never wanted children, but you never hear about females stand out and say, no, hey, I don't want children and it's okay. I just want to live a life of freedom and doing what I want. And everybody are like, oh, yeah, but you're going to regret it. We always hear about the females that can't have children, and that's fucking hard. I get it. But what about us? Just like, not for me. There are a lot of men who are like that, and they are not constantly being like poked on their shoulder. Hey, why not? Actually. So that's what I do. I'm an artist, but I'm also a political activist and a feminist. Like the reactions have been very positive. I was in Danish television. The only negative thing that I have experienced is when I went out with my sexual consent story. It's actually a personal story because I experienced a sexual assault at a festival a couple of years ago where I was too drunk, and then I woke up experiencing that a guy had sex with me. And I went out with that story on public national TV, and I got a lot of positive response. A lot of females wrote me, oh, I know exactly how you're feeling and all the guilt you have been feeling, but it's not okay, and guys have to stop. Like, she's passed out, try to make a move, don't do it, guys, it's over now. But there was also a thread, of course, on social media, as I did expect, calling me a slut, like 300-400 people. If some of the people online who attacked me for going out with a sexual assault story and saying, yeah, it's your own fault, you shouldn't drink that much at the festival, la la la, then I'm just even more, convinced that I'm doing the right thing. We need to talk about these things, and we need also we need to go into a direction where young women can go to festivals and also have a drink too much and not fear any penis being put up in them, as much as we need to tell our young guys and guys in generally, don't do it. I have made a difference for people. And that's the aim of why I'm doing music still, and trying to like go through the underground and make a breakthrough in the indie rock scene. It's also because we need representation and we need female voices. For 50, 70 years, we have heard rock music, and we have almost only heard male narratives and male voices. Actually, feminism has had some quite harsh circumstances here in Denmark. It's not popular to say you're a feminist. I just been on tour and played in front of altogether maybe 400 people, and because I play rock music and I was out co-headlining with a male rock band, there were a lot of older guys in the audience, like plus 40 maybe was the majority of plus 40 men, but they were, and I was like, ooh, now I'm not in the big city. Now I'm not in Copenhagen. Now I'm in southern of Jutland, like in a little city in the province. What can I say here? And people were like, oh my God, they were blown away. And they also came up to me afterwards and they were like, oh, you provoked me. But oh my God, that was cool. You provoked me. And it was like mostly men. I was actually quite surprised. So maybe we are facing a change in Denmark. Maybe it is okay to go out and say you're a feminist, but it's still like a bad word. And I do it like in your face. And in a lot of countries in Europe now, you can say you're a feminist and people are like, yeah, cool, of course you are, equality, that's something that we like. And in Denmark it's just like, oh, so you only want the females to get in front, you want to take something from the men, so then you hate men. And I'm like, no, I'm heterosexual, I actually really like men. I think it's easier now than it was 2 years ago when I had my first live show. But maybe I'm also better at stage now to know where I can push buttons and still not be provocative, but also be constructive in my dialogue. I am the first one to, in Denmark at least, to fuse a very masculine music style, guitar, distortion pedals, with this very female point of view with feminism and political agenda. So maybe it also makes it more acceptable for the audience. It has taught me that you can go out and talk about some very difficult topics, but when you're doing it through music, people can actually listen to it and reflect in another way. I'm also a debater and I write, pieces for columns and stuff like that. People react otherwise to your pencil work than it does when you sing it and you're doing like a concert. I really love the idea that you educate yourself while entertaining yourself. And it works. And everybody can change their mindset and being taught new things when you do it in this way. Also, plus 60 years old men, I just experienced it. Now they suddenly reflect on such things that they haven't reflected on before. And it's much easier to do when it's done through, for an example, music or any other kind of art, than it is when you navigate on social media threads. So music is a powerful, powerful weapon to change things, status quo. A lot of bands inspire me, but I must say up during the 2010, the decade, there was a shift in how I listened to music. I mostly before, from my youth, in the beginning of the 2000s and the middle of the 2000s, I mostly listened to men. I listened a lot, actually 80s band. I listened to a lot of noise rock. I listened to a lot of post-punk, a lot of The Cure, a lot of Jesus and the Mary Chain, My Bloody Valentine. Nirvana, of course, a lot of Pixies, like all of the heroes. I started to reflect on why I never listened to any women, except, of course, PJ Harvey, because we all love PJ Harvey. And then I began to try to, every time that I wanted to listen to a new artist, half of the time, I made a rule for myself. It has to be with a female as well, because I didn't listen to any. I actually once said, oh my God, life is too short for female singers. And that's like, not a good thing, daughter, not a good thing. You have to educate yourself. During the 2010s, and especially in the late part of the decade, I just met so many incredible women on my way, like Anna Calvi, Sharon Van Etten, Angel Olsen. We got some of the more obscure bands, Scout Niblet. Suddenly there was a whole other dimension opening itself for me. So I must say, all of the females out there rocking about with their guitar, I eat it all up. But I must say, I'm so curious about seeing all of these new narratives coming ahead, because I've listened to male gaze so many years, and it started in the 1950s with Johnny B. Good and everything till now. And now suddenly there's an indie rock moment and movement in time, where a lot of females are rising up again through the underground. And I think it's very, very, very interesting what is happening right now. And as a female, I am my gender when I listen to music as well. And now I suddenly see my stories represented. That is my inspiration. That's all of the females out there daring to produce music, put their views out there, and also the older ones, the Riot Girls who came before us. They are my inspiration. I don't have any representation in Netherlands, but I guess if my GSA, Germany, Austria, Switzerland tour goes well, and we're gonna go out in February, it will be the next step to go to Benelux, Holland, and Belgium. I would love to come. I love your mentality. I have had some good friends coming from venues, from Amsterdam and also from Belgium and all of the regions. So I would really love to come. I think we're very similar and have a great attitude both to rock music, very important, and also this whole gender liberal kind of way of thought. And actually, my producer on 2 of the songs on this EP, Rasmus Bredvig, is working half in Holland and is also working with some venues and some festivals down there. It is on the drawing board, so we can make that happen.